Okay, so here's yet another great example from my telephone collection. This is my 1974 Bell System Western Electric Trimline phone in the really great red colour. Now I really love the Trimline phones, I think they've got a really cool look to them. They're very streamlined, hence the name Trimline, and very compact phones. But they were really revolutionary when they came out in the 60s because they had an all-in-one design, which meant that they had a dial on the handset, so everything you needed was right in the palm of your hand. You've got your receiver, your microphone, your dialing out apparatus, and even a switch hook in case you misdial. So yeah, everything was right there. So as the advert said, the dial comes to you. So you know, it probably set the market for today's phones, like iPhones and such. I wouldn't be surprised if that's where the ideas have come from. But anyway, here it is. It's all original. It's got all its original 1974 date stamps, which match the one on the base there. As you can see, ADI 674. Its feet are intact, and it says the Bell System property not for sale. Got some nice Trimline font there, and there's the bell adjustment. And as you can see, it's in really nice condition. There's hardly any marks on it, and the metal base is in really good shape. There's no rust or chip paint or anything. You can see some of the internals there, the spring for the switch hook and the bell in the middle and some of the wire in there. But anyway, there it is. It does have the original curly cord, which is in really good condition. And I believe this is the original line cord. I have seen some Western Electric Trimline brochures and it shows a grey line cord on it, so I'm assuming that's correct. And it does have the 4-prong Bell System plug on there. It's plugged into an adapter which is plugged into my landline. So anyway, there it is. So I'll show you the handset in a bit more detail. So you've got some nice Trimline lettering there, which actually covers a bulb, which if I had a transformer for this, which would plug into the main power supply to the house, like your outlets, etc., that would power this little 5-volt bulb, which would shine onto the dial as a backlight, so you can see it in the dark, if you're dialing out in the dark or whatever. Because on these earlier trim lines, it wasn't an LED like it was on the later ones, as you can see. If it was an LED, it would say LED there between the 1 and the 0, where the finger stop sits. I'm not sure when they started doing the LED ones. I think it must have been in the very late 70s, if not the early 80s. But anyway, that's a small thing that doesn't really matter. So you've got a nice Western Electric bit of branding there on the dial centre. And the finger stop does move, as you can see, which forms your gap between the 0 and the 1. Basically because the handset isn't big enough to house a full-size dial, so that's why the finger stop has to move. The dial has a really nice sound to it. And when it's plugged in, you can hear the pulses quite loud. There you go. So, yeah, it's quite cool. As I said, there's the microphone, there's the receiver. I did have to replace the microphone with an electronic one because the carbon granule one that was in it was completely dead. So I had to change that out, so that works fine now. For some reason the bell wasn't connected when I first got this. It wouldn't ring and somebody had disconnected it, so perhaps somebody had used it as an extension phone, maybe. I don't know, but anyway, there's the main switch hook for when you hang the phone up, and there's the dial card. So yeah, I think I've shown you everything there is to show you. This is a desk model only. They didn't do multi-purpose ones for wall and desk phones, not until maybe sometime in the late 80s, which was when they started using like a plastic base. But when these original ones were out, they were dedicated desk ones and dedicated wall phones. And the wall phones had like fins up here. They were a bit different in design, but it was the same handset and basically the same internals. It was just a different method in which the casing was made on the base. So anyway, here's the connections for the handset card. The line cord's the same as well underneath. They're a very early type of modular jack. It's not really like the modular that we have today. There's just these massive big square plug things which clip in, but it's not hardwired, which you'd probably think it would be. But anyway, so I'll dial out for you. I think I've said everything there is to say. So there's the dial tone. It's got an alphanumeric dial, of course, very typical of the American phone. Quite difficult to do with one hand. It's dialing out. There we go. So there we are. So I'll ring it for you now so you can hear what the ringer sounds like. It's quite shrill really for a bell ringer, it's quite loud. So it's on its loudest setting. See if I can put it on quiet. So that's like the soft setting. And that's loud again. So there we go. Not sure how well the volume difference was on camera, how well it picked up, but you can tell in real life. But anyway, there we are, my 1974 Western Electric Trimline phone in the bright red colour. So thanks for watching, and hope you enjoyed.